When did your company's wellness program turn into illegal data harvesting? I was deleting my period tracking app in the office bathroom when my manager slacked me that my performance review had been moved to right now, 1 hour before the mandatory wellness sync deadline. My hands were shaking as I sat in stall number 3, frantically trying to delete 18 months of fertility tracking data. My phone screen glowed with a countdown that made my stomach drop. Mandatory sync deadline, 2 p.m., time remaining, 58 minutes. 3 missed calls from Edgar. He was our VP of People Operations. He never called anyone 3 times unless someone was getting fired. 2 weeks ago, they'd announced this Vital Metrics wellness optimization program. Sync all your health apps to the company system or lose your quarterly bonus. They said it would help us optimize our potential. I knew what they really wanted. My cycle data, my ovulation dates, everything I'd been tracking while preparing for IVF. My period was 6 days late. Not pregnant, just stressed from starting fertility treatments next month. The last thing I needed was my employer tracking that. The bathroom door banged open. Daisy? Patricia's heels clicked across the tile. She was our HR director. Edgar's looking for you. He seems pissed. I stayed silent, hoping she'd leave. I know you're in here. Your badge pinged the bathroom entry 7 minutes ago. Of course it did. They tracked everything here except actual work. The walk to the conference room felt like a death march. Those wellness is wealth posters lined every wall, featuring smiling employees holding up their phones with the Vital Metrics app open. In the break room, someone had drawn devil horns on one of them. Edgar sat waiting with Patricia and his laptop. My employee profile was already pulled up on the screen. Your sync status shows incomplete. He turned the laptop toward me. A big red X next to my name. Every other senior PM has complied. It's my medical data, I said. I have endometriosis. My treatments are private. Patricia jumped in with her practiced HR voice. The program is voluntary. You simply won't qualify for the performance bonus. Edgar pulled up another screen. Actually, we're restructuring. Non-participants can't maintain senior roles. He clicked to a new slide showing an organization chart. This is effective immediately. My name had moved 3 levels down. The title next to it, Product Manager I, Senior Product Manager to Junior, just like that. The salary adjustment is here. Another click. $88,000 to $66,000. Effective today, $22,000, gone, because I wouldn't let them track my periods. You have 47 minutes to sync or accept the demotion. Back at my desk, I did the math on a sticky note. $22,000 in base salary, another $4,500 in quarterly bonuses, gone. My health insurance would drop from platinum to bronze. The bronze plan had 0 IVF coverage, 0. Each IVF cycle cost $18,000. We'd saved for 2 years to afford 1 cycle. Now I'd need 3 years. I opened the Vital Metrics app, permissions screen. It wanted everything. Apple Health, Fitbit, MyFitnessPal, FlowClue, sleep cycle. They'd know my heart rate during meetings, how many times I went to the bathroom, when I ovulated, when I had sex, my weight fluctuations during my period. Yesterday at the all hands, Edgar had said it straight out. Optimized employees are predictable employees. Lucas messaged me on Slack. Don't do it. They want my glucose data. I'm type 1 diabetic. What happens when they see my blood sugar crashes? 3 pregnant coworkers had created a private channel. What if they track our morning sickness? Maria wrote. I've thrown up 3 times this week. Ashley added. My first trimester exhaustion is already showing in my badge data. I'm arriving 15 minutes later. Chen Yi. I've had 2 miscarriages. Imagine that in my performance review. 2 o'clock came fast. My phone buzzed. Sync incomplete. Status, non-compliant. The changes were instant. My badge turned from blue to gray on the employee app. Slack channels started disappearing from my sidebar. Product strategy, senior leadership, roadmap planning, all gone. An email from Patricia landed in my inbox. Effective immediately, junior PM role, report to Kyle Chen. Kyle, my former direct report who I'd trained 6 months ago. He was 24. My desk phone rang. It was Dr. Chen, my endocrinologist. Got your panicked voicemail. This is medical discrimination. Don't sign anything. Edgar appeared at my desk like he'd been waiting. Clean out your senior PM materials. Kyle needs the spot by tomorrow. Around me, coworkers kept their eyes on their screens. Nobody wanted to risk association with a non-compliant employee. Edgar leaned closer. This doesn't have to be difficult. Just sync your apps. It's for your own wellness. My uterus isn't company property. Your productivity is. That's when I decided, if they wanted a war over my reproductive organs, they'd get one. 3 days later, I sat in Dr. Chen's office watching her type up documentation that might save my job. Tell me exactly what they're tracking, she said, fingers poised over her keyboard. Everything. Heart rate during meetings, bathroom breaks, sleep patterns, menstrual cycles, ovulation dates. She stopped typing. They want to know when you ovulate. The app permissions include Flow and Clue. Those apps track cervical mucus consistency, basal body temperature, when you have sex, everything. Dr. Chen pulled up my medical file. Your endometriosis requires you to track symptoms they have no business knowing, pain levels during intercourse, heavy bleeding days that might affect your work performance, the entire fertility medication schedule we've planned. She typed faster now, angry. Do they understand you take Oralissa? That medication causes hot flashes and mood changes. You want your boss knowing every time you have a hot flash? Edgar says it's for wellness optimization. Bullshit. This violates ADA. It violates HIPAA. It violates basic human dignity. She printed out 3 pages. This letter states that your medical conditions require absolute privacy. Endometriosis is covered under ADA as a disability when it substantially limits major life activities. I took the letter and started researching on my phone. I can't find a single other tech company in Austin requiring health app syncing. Because it's legally questionable at best. I pulled up our employee handbook on the company portal. Page 47, section 3.2. Participation in wellness programs is voluntary and cannot affect employment status. I screenshotted immediately. That's your smoking gun, Dr. Chen said. They put it in writing. My phone buzzed. Lucas had texted me a photo of his insulin pump data. Look at this. My blood sugar crashed 3 times last week during code reviews. Stress-induced. If they see this pattern, they'll claim I'm high risk. My insurance premiums will skyrocket. Dr. Chen leaned forward. Is he type 1 diabetic? Since he was 12. That's another ADA violation. They can't use medical data to discriminate against employees with disabilities. She pulled out her prescription pad and wrote something. This isn't a prescription. It's my personal cell number. When they retaliate, and they will, call me immediately. I'll testify if needed. Testify? Daisy, I've seen this before. Companies push until someone pushes back. You're about to push back. They won't like it. I folded the letter into my bag. My salary's already cut by $22,000. My IVF coverage is gone. What else can they take? Your job, your reputation, your references. She stood up. But they can't take your dignity. And they can't take your right to medical privacy. Walking back to my car, I texted Lucas. Got the letter. Meeting with HR Monday. He responded immediately. Patricia's been scheduling meetings with all non-compliant employees. She's building files on us. How do you know? Her assistant told me. She feels guilty about the whole thing, said Patricia has a folder labeled Resistance Management. I sat in my car for 5 minutes, reading and rereading the employee handbook section. Voluntary. Cannot affect employment status. They'd violated their own policy in writing. Monday was going to be interesting. Monday morning came too fast, and I sat outside Patricia's office holding Dr. Chen's letter like a weapon. Come in, Patricia called. She had my file already open on her desk, 3 inches thick. I'd been there 4 years. It shouldn't be that thick. I placed Dr. Chen's letter on her desk first, then the employee handbook screenshot, then the ADA violation research I'd printed. Patricia didn't touch any of it. The wellness program is voluntary. Your demotion was performance-based. My last review was 4.2 out of 5. The demotion happened 60 minutes after I refused to sync. Correlation isn't causation. She finally picked up Dr. Chen's letter, skimmed it, set it down. Senior roles require cultural fit. You're not fitting. Cultural fit means letting the company track my menstrual cycle. Cultural fit means being a team player. The door opened. Edgar walked in without knocking. I heard you're making trouble. I'm filing a formal complaint about medical discrimination. Edgar sat on the edge of Patricia's desk. Power move. You know what your problem is? You don't understand the future. Vital Metrics gives us predictive analytics. We know who's getting sick before they do. My phone was recording in my pocket. Texas is a one-party consent state. I'd looked it up 3 times to be sure. So you're using medical data to predict employee illness? We're optimizing workforce wellness. He picked up Dr. Chen's letter. Endometriosis. That must be challenging. Lots of sick days in your future. That's literally discrimination based on a medical condition. Patricia jumped in. Edgar's point is that wellness monitoring helps us support employees with chronic conditions. By demoting them, Edgar stood up. If you pursue this complaint, we'll have to review your entire performance history, every sick day, every late arrival, every deadline you've missed. I haven't missed any deadlines. Haven't you? He pulled out his phone, scrolled. March 15th. Product roadmap was submitted at 2:03 p.m. Deadline was 2 p.m. 3 minutes because I was in the bathroom because I have endometriosis. See? This is why wellness monitoring helps. We could predict your bathroom needs and adjust deadlines accordingly. Patricia was typing something. I'm documenting that you were offered the opportunity to participate voluntarily in the wellness program and declined. Voluntary with a $22,000 penalty isn't voluntary. Edgar leaned forward. You know what? Take the week. Think about it. But if you file that complaint, we'll need to examine whether someone with your medical needs can handle any product management role. That's retaliation. That's performance management. He headed for the door. Oh, and Daisy, I noticed Lucas has been spending a lot of time at your desk. Might want to tell your diabetic friend that resistance is contagious. Patricia pushed a paper across the desk. Sign this to acknowledge we discussed your performance concerns. I read it. It said nothing about the wellness program, just that I'd been counseled about attitude and cultural alignment. I'm not signing that. Then I'll note that you refused to acknowledge feedback. She typed again. This meeting is concluded. Walking out, I texted Lucas. They just threatened you too. His response was immediate. Already happened. Just got moved to night shift. They said my glucose crashes make me unreliable for day shift. I sat in my car and listened to the recording. Edgar's voice was clear. We know who's getting sick before they do. That wasn't wellness optimization. That was a witch hunt. The next morning, I pulled into my usual parking spot and found a new sign. Visitor parking only. My spot for 3 years. Gone. I circled the garage twice before finding a space on the roof level, in the rain. At the elevator, my key card wouldn't work for the senior PM floor. The reader just blinked red. I had to take the stairs down 2 floors to the junior level where my card still worked. My first meeting was the product roadmap review. I'd led it every Tuesday for 2 years. I walked in and Kyle pointed to a chair in the back. Observers sit there, he said. I'm not observing. I built this roadmap. You were a senior PM when you built it, now you're not. He pulled up my old presentation. My name had been removed from every slide. I'll be presenting your work today. I sat in the back and watched him butcher my quarterly planning. He mixed up the timeline, confused 2 major features. Nobody corrected him. After the meeting, he stopped by my desk with a stack of printouts. I need you to input these customer feedback forms into the database. That's intern work. And it's your work now. 3 hours of data entry, names, email addresses, satisfaction scores. My master's degree in product management really paying off. At lunch, I sat at my usual table. Jenny hesitated before sitting down, looking around first. I want to support you, she whispered, but I need this job. My son needs surgery next month, cleft palate repair if I lose my insurance. I get it. They sent an email this morning. Said associating with non-compliant employees affects our team cohesion scores. Those scores affect raises. She picked up her tray and moved 3 tables away. My phone buzzed. Lucas. Just got demoted to junior engineer. They said my glucose crashes make me a liability for critical systems. 4 years of perfect reviews and suddenly I'm unreliable. I looked across the cafeteria. Lucas sat alone too. We made eye contact but didn't wave. Too risky. That afternoon, Patricia sent a company-wide email. Subject, performance improvement plans. And 3 names were listed. Maria Rodriguez, Ashley Kim, Chen Yi Wang. All 3 were pregnant. All 3 were non-compliant. Maria texted our group chat immediately. 7 months pregnant and suddenly I need performance improvement? My last review was exceeds expectations. Ashley, they said my morning sickness absences show lack of commitment. I've used 4 sick days. I have 12. Chen Yi, Patricia scheduled my improvement meeting during my prenatal appointment. When I asked to reschedule, she said that proved I wasn't prioritizing work. I walked past Patricia's office and overheard her on the phone. The pregnancy risks are already self-selecting out, 3 down this week. By 4 o'clock, more changes rolled out. My GitLab access was downgraded to read-only. I couldn't even comment on code reviews anymore. My Slack channels kept disappearing. Product strategy, leadership planning, innovation committee, all gone. Kyle sent another email. Please update your desk location in the system. You'll be moving to the open floor plan tomorrow. The open floor, where they put contractors and people about to be fired. I started packing my desk. 3 years of product awards, photos from team celebrations, my favorite coffee mug that said world's okayest PM. Edgar walked by and stopped. Rough day? Just adjusting to my new role. Good. Adjustment is growth. He picked up my award for product innovation excellence. You were so promising. Shame about the culture fit. My culture fit was fine until I refused to sync my menstrual cycle. He set the award down. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. You're free to find a company that aligns with your values. My values of medical privacy, your values of resistance. After he left, I found a sticky note on my keyboard. Check your personal email. Oh, Olivia, the junior legal counsel. I checked my phone. She'd sent an encrypted file. The subject line, you need to see this. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a presentation titled Managing Resistance Strategy. Page 1 had our names. All 7 non-compliant employees. Each name had a strategy. Mine said, increase pressure until voluntary resignation. Lucas, document performance issues for termination. Maria, leverage pregnancy vulnerability. This wasn't about wellness, it was about control. And they'd put their entire plan in writing. I needed to know exactly what Olivia had risked her career to show me. We met at a coffee shop 3 blocks from the office. Olivia sat in the back corner, baseball cap pulled low. Don't look at me when we talk, she said. Edgar hired someone to watch non-compliant employees. I stared at my latte. What's in the memo? She slid a folder across the table. Read it fast. I need it back. The cover page said Managing Resistance Strategy. Underneath, in smaller text, confidential, board eyes only. Page 2 listed all 7 of us. Each name had a strategy. Mine said, increase pressure until voluntary resignation. Lucas had document performance issues for termination. But Maria's made my stomach turn. Leverage pregnancy vulnerability. High medical costs make her desperate. Keep reading, Olivia whispered. Page 5 was worse. Employee health data increases company valuation by $50 million for potential acquirers. They'd done the math. Our bodies were worth $50 million to them. The next section outlined the Vital Metrics partnership. They weren't just storing our health data, they were packaging it, selling it, creating predictive models. Edgar showed me a demo last week, Olivia said. They can predict who's getting pregnant before the woman knows, who's going to have a mental breakdown, who's likely to get divorced based on sleep patterns and heart rate variability. That's not wellness. That's surveillance. It gets worse. She flipped to the last page. They're already selling data. Look at the revenue projections. Quarter 1, 287 female employees, $45 per fertility profile. Quarter 2 projections showed 500 profiles at $60 each. They're literally selling our uteruses. Edgar calls it monetizing idle health assets. Olivia pulled out a USB drive. There's more on here. Emails between Edgar and the Vital Metrics CEO, investor presentations, even recordings from board meetings. Why are you helping us? Because I didn't go to law school to help men profit from women's menstrual cycles. She stood up. If you use this, I never gave it to you. I was never here. After she left, I texted the group. Emergency meeting, not at the office. That night, 7 of us crowded into Maria's living room. I checked for company cars 3 times before going in. They're tracking our badge movements, Lucas said. Edgar knows when we're together at work. That's why we're here, I said. No badges, no company devices. Maria sat on the couch, 7 months pregnant, hand on her belly. Patricia scheduled my performance review during my ultrasound appointment. When I asked to reschedule, she said it showed poor commitment. Ashley paced by the window. My husband works at Progressive Insurance. He says they're buying fertility prediction models from a company called Vital Metrics. They use it to adjust premiums. You mean our company is helping insurance companies charge us more? Chen Yi's voice cracked. I've had 2 miscarriages. If that's in my profile. It probably is, Lucas said. He pulled out his personal laptop. I did some digging on my own. Vital Metrics isn't just working with our company. They have contracts with 3 other Austin tech companies. So this is bigger than just us. Much bigger. Lucas turned his screen toward us. Look at their investor page. They're claiming they can reduce company healthcare costs by 23% through predictive intervention. What's predictive intervention? Firing people before they get sick. Maria started crying. I need this job. My husband got laid off last month. If I lose my insurance now. We're not going to let that happen, I said. We're going to document everything, build a case, protect each other. How? Ashley asked. They're watching everything we do. We use Signal for communication, meet only outside work, document every interaction, every email, every discriminatory action. And then what? Chenyi asked. Then we find our smoking gun. Something so damaging they can't ignore it or cover it up. Lucas closed his laptop. I might have a way to help with that. The investor deck Olivia mentioned? It's on an unsecured server. I can access it with my regular credentials because they're idiots about internal security. That's illegal. So is selling our health data without consent. He looked around the room. I'm already targeted for termination. What do I have to lose? We agreed to meet again in 3 days. Same place, same time, no phones except burners, no company devices, nothing that could track us. Walking to my car, I realized we weren't just fighting for our jobs anymore. We were fighting for every woman whose employer thought her uterus was a corporate asset. 3 days later, I plugged Olivia's USB into my personal laptop at home. The folder labeled Project Aristotle opened to reveal hundreds of files. Emails, spreadsheets, presentations, all organized by quarter. The first email was from Edgar to the Vital Metrics CEO. Q1 package confirmed. 142 employees. Special rate for fertility age females at $45 per profile. Wire transfer complete. 142 employees. $45 each. They'd sold us for less than the cost of a nice dinner. I screenshot everything, every email, every transaction, every single piece of evidence that they were trafficking in our bodies. The investor deck was worse. The title slide said Predictive Wellness, the $50 million revenue stream. The next slide had a graph. The x-axis showed days of menstrual cycle. The y-axis showed code quality score. And they were correlating our periods with our work output. Another slide made me want to throw my laptop. Pre-pregnancy identification reduces maternity costs by 23%. Below it, a flowchart showed how to identify women likely to get pregnant and manage them out before conception. Lucas messaged our Signal group. I'm in the server. You need to see this. We did a video call on encrypted apps only. Lucas shared his screen. This is their employee health score database, he said. Every single one of us has a number. He pulled up his profile. Lucas Chen, type 1 diabetic. Health score, 42 out of 100. Risk level, high. Promotion eligible, no. They're using my diabetes to block promotions. He searched for Maria Rodriguez. Health score, 31 out of 100. Pregnancy risk. Score, 87%. 87%? Maria's voice cracked through the phone. We've been trying for 2 years. How do they know? Your cycle tracking data, your age, your recent weight gain, your bathroom frequency. Lucas kept scrolling. They have an algorithm. Ashley's profile showed 3 flagged items. Morning tardiness, frequent bathroom breaks, purchasing pregnancy tests on the company insurance pharmacy benefit. I bought those tests at CVS, how do they know? The insurance company shares pharmacy data, Lucas said. It's in the fine print. Chenyi's profile was the worst. 2 documented miscarriages, flagged for pregnancy complications risk. A note from Patricia. Do not approve fertility treatment coverage. High risk for failed pregnancy. They denied my fertility coverage because I had miscarriages? Chenyi was crying now. I started building our EECC complaint while Lucas downloaded everything. Employee profiles, health scores, the correlation spreadsheets, the pregnancy prediction algorithm. All of it. There's something else, Lucas said. He pulled up an email thread between Edgar and someone named Janet Cho. She's on the board. Look at this. Chaz? The email said, Health data subsidiary could IPO separately. Valuation of $200 million if we hit 1,000 employee profiles. Current count, 287 compliant employees. They're planning to spin off our health data as a separate company? That's what it looks like. Lucas kept reading. Wait. Look at this attachment. He opened a document titled Settlement Agreement, Confidential. Last year, an employee named Rachel Park had a miscarriage, Lucas read. She filed a complaint after Edgar mentioned it in her performance review. They paid her $50,000 to stay quiet. They've done this before. And covered it up. I saved everything to 3 different drives. Cloud storage, physical USB, even printed the most damaging emails. We need more, I said. This is bad, but we need something undeniable, something they can't explain away. What about the all-hands meeting next week? Maria suggested. Edgar always presents. Maybe he'll say something incriminating. We can't record it. They scan for devices now. Lucas smiled. They scan for phones. They don't scan for smartwatches. Mine records audio. That's risky. Everything we're doing is risky. He looked at each of us on the screen. But look at what they're doing to us. My diabetes makes me worthless to them. Maria's desire to have a baby makes her a liability. Chenyi's miscarriages disqualify her from healthcare. And my endometriosis makes me unemployable, I added. So we record the all hands, Ashley said. What if he doesn't say anything incriminating? Then we keep documenting. Keep building the case. I looked at my notes. 3 pages of evidence already. But something tells me Edgar won't be able to resist. He loves to brag about his data-driven decisions. We agreed to meet once more before the all-hands meeting. Lucas would wear his smartwatch. I'd sit close enough to ask pointed questions if needed. We're going to expose them, I said. All of it. Or they're going to destroy us trying, Chenyi said. She was right, but we were already being destroyed. At least now we were fighting back. But the peace didn't last long. Edgar was getting paranoid. The next Monday, Edgar started showing up at random desks for wellness check-ins. He'd appear behind you, smile, and ask about your health goals. He stopped at my desk first. How's your wellness journey, Daisy? Fine. You look tired. Are you tracking your sleep? No. That's what the app is for, to help you optimize. He lingered for another 30 seconds, watching my screen. I had a spreadsheet open. Just numbers, nothing incriminating. 20 minutes later, my computer screen went black. Then a message popped up. Remote maintenance in progress. Do not power off. I watched helplessly as my cursor moved on its own. Files opened. Closed. My recent documents list appeared. The cursor hovered over each file name. I texted Lucas on my burner phone. They're in my computer right now. Mine too. Don't panic. Everything important is on personal devices. The remote session lasted 12 minutes. When it ended, IT sent an email. Routine maintenance complete. Thank you for your patience. Patricia scheduled mandatory one-on-ones with all 7 non-compliant employees. Mine was Tuesday at 2. How are you adjusting to your new role? She asked, fake concern dripping from every word. It's fine. Kyle says you've been distracted. Taking long bathroom breaks, leaving your desk frequently. I have endometriosis. You have the medical documentation. She wrote something down. Are you organizing with other employees? I'm doing my job. That's not what I asked. Am I allowed to talk to coworkers? She leaned forward. Daisy, we're trying to help you succeed here. But resistance to company culture is concerning. Maria's meeting was worse. She told us about it that night on Signal. Patricia had pushed and pushed until Maria cracked. I just have some privacy concerns about the health data, Maria had said. Edgar appeared in the doorway within seconds, like he'd been listening. Privacy is dead, he said. Smart employees monetize their data. Dumb ones cling to outdated concepts. Maria didn't tell them about our group, but she came close. Wednesday, I came back from lunch to find Kyle at my desk, pulling out drawers. What are you doing? Looking for the Q2 project files. He held up a folder I'd never seen before. Found them. Those weren't project files. He'd planted something. Also, IT flagged something on your company phone. He showed me a screenshot, the Signal app icon. Why do you have encrypted messaging? For my family group chat, my mom's paranoid about privacy. Funny. Your mom sounds like you. That afternoon, Olivia texted my burner. Meet me in the parking garage. Now, she was pacing by her car. Edgar hired private investigators. They're following non-compliant employees. How do you know? I saw the invoice. $3,000 a week for surveillance services. That's insane. He's desperate. The board is asking questions about the resistance. Janet Cho wants to know why 20% of employees won't sync. Good, let them sweat. No, you don't understand. When Edgar gets desperate, he gets dangerous. Last year, he planted drugs in someone's desk to fire them. What? The person was organizing a union vote. Edgar had security randomly search their desk, found prescription pills that weren't theirs, fired for cause, no unemployment. My stomach dropped. That folder Kyle found. What if they'd planted something? You need to be careful, Olivia said. Document everything, save everything off-site, and maybe. She paused. Maybe start looking for other jobs. I'm not running. Then be smarter. No more meetings at Maria's apartment. They probably know about those. Use the public library, different branch each time, leave your phones in your cars, even burners can be tracked. That night, I left my phone in the car and walked to the library. I spent 3 hours researching EECC complaints on public computers. Downloaded forms to a fresh USB drive, printed copies at the desk, paying cash. The librarian looked at the stack of discrimination complaint forms. Corporate job? How did you know? Third person this week printing those exact forms, all women, all from tech companies. She leaned closer. There's a labor lawyer who does free consultations, Sarah Martinez. She's building a class action against companies that abuse health data. She wrote the number on a slip of paper. I memorized it and threw the paper away 3 blocks later. Edgar might be watching, but he couldn't see everything. Not yet. The call came Friday morning while I was researching EECC forms at the library. Patricia's voice was ice. Conference room B. Now. All non-compliant employees. When I walked in, the other 6 were already there. Maria looked pale. Ashley kept checking her phone. Chenny stared at the table. Patricia stood at the front with Edgar and 2 security guards. My stomach dropped. Security meant terminations. We know you're organizing. Patricia clicked to a PowerPoint showing a map with red dots. These are your badge movements over the past 2 weeks. The dots clustered at Maria's apartment building. 5 dots, all arriving within 10 minutes of each other last Tuesday. Why were 5 of you at the same location on Tuesday evening? Nobody answered. Edgar stepped forward. We also have IT logs showing encrypted messaging apps on company phones, document downloads to personal devices, suspicious search histories about discrimination law. He clicked to the next slide. Our names with evidence listed under each one. This ends now. Or we pursue legal action for conspiracy to damage company property. What property? I asked. Our proprietary health data algorithms, our trade secrets, our competitive advantage. Lucas stood up. My glucose levels aren't your trade secrets. Your employment agreement says otherwise. Edgar pulled out a folder. Section 12.3. All data generated during employment becomes company property. That's for work product, not my pancreas. Patricia jumped in. Lucas Chen, you're terminated for security violations, accessing servers without authorization. I use my regular login. Your security sucks. Downloading company data to personal devices. My own health scores. The security guards moved toward him. Lucas grabbed his bag. You know what? Fine. Fire me. He looked at the rest of us. My glucose data isn't proprietary. It's my fucking pancreas. Security grabbed his arms. As they dragged him toward the door, he shouted loud enough for the whole floor to hear. They're selling your periods to Aetna. $45 per menstrual cycle. People prairie dogged over their cubicles. Someone pulled out a phone. Get him out, Edgar barked. Lucas kept yelling as they pushed him into the hallway. Check the investor deck. They're selling your fertility data, your pregnancy predictions. The door slammed shut. Edgar turned back to us, face red. Anyone else want to join him? Silence. Good. He straightened his tie. Here's what happens now. You have until Monday to sync your health apps. Full compliance, no exceptions. Or, Maria asked quietly, or you're terminated for performance issues. No severance, no unemployment. We'll contest any claims, Patricia added, and we'll pursue legal action for theft of proprietary information. That includes anyone who downloaded company data. My phone had those screenshots, the emails, the investor deck, all of it. We're also implementing new security protocols, Edgar continued. All personal devices banned from the building starting Monday. Company phones will be monitored continuously. Any encrypted messaging apps will trigger immediate termination. Ashley started crying. I just need my insurance. My son needs surgery. Then sync your apps, Patricia said. It's simple. Chen Yi stood up. This is illegal. You can't force us to share medical data. We're not forcing anything. You're free to leave. Without unemployment, without references, without healthcare. Edgar smiled. Employment is at will in Texas. We can terminate for any reason. Not for discriminatory reasons. Performance issues aren't discrimination. Maria grabbed her purse. I need air. This meeting isn't over, Patricia said. Yes, it is. Maria walked to the door. I'm 7 months pregnant. If the stress you're causing makes me go into labor, my husband will own this company. She left. The rest of us followed. In the hallway, people stared. Word was already spreading about Lucas's outburst. Someone had posted on the company Slack before it got deleted. They're selling our periods? $45? Is that legal? I heard my name from behind. Olivia stood by the water fountain pretending to fill her bottle. Tuesday's all hands, she whispered as I passed. Edgar's presenting quarterly results. The whole company will be watching, including remote employees. She walked away before I could respond. We had 3 days. Monday was the deadline. Tuesday was the all hands. 3 days to figure out how to expose them. Or 3 days until we joined Lucas in the unemployment line. Monday morning arrived like a prison sentence. The new security enhancement protocol email hit our inboxes at 7 a.m. I read it 3 times, each time feeling sicker. No personal devices allowed in the building. Leave phones in your car or at home. Company phones would have screenshot software installed, capturing screens every 30 seconds. All emails filtered for keywords: privacy, lawyer, discrimination, EECC, lawsuit, whistleblower. I left my phone in my car and walked through the metal detector they'd installed over the weekend. The security guard waved a wand over me like I was entering a courthouse. At my desk, Kyle had already reassigned my last 2 direct reports. My calendar showed nothing but data entry blocks. 8 hours a day of copying customer feedback into spreadsheets. Another email landed, from Patricia. Subject, compensation adjustment. Due to performance alignment needs, your salary has been adjusted by 10%. New annual salary, $59,400, effective immediately. I'd gone from $88,000 to $59,000 in 2 weeks. $29,000. Gone. Because I wouldn't let them track my ovulation. The health insurance email came next. Urgent. Sync your health apps by Friday or lose coverage. This is your final notice. Friday, 4 days away. I opened a spreadsheet and started entering customer names. John Smith, happy with product. Susan Johnson, needs better support. My master's degree at work. At 10 a.m., Edgar called an emergency all hands in the main conference room. In-person attendance mandatory. He stood at the podium with a PowerPoint behind him. The first slide said compliance creates success. Some of you have heard rumors about our wellness program. Let me be clear. Resistance is futile. Compliance is prosperity. He clicked to the next slide, a graph showing productivity scores. Compliant employees are 34% more productive than non-compliant employees. Someone raised their hand. How are you measuring productivity? Holistic metrics, health scores, energy levels, optimal performance windows. You mean you're measuring our health, not our work? Edgar's smile tightened. Health is work. Sick employees cost money. Tired employees make mistakes. Stressed employees quit. He clicked again. Another graph. This one showing healthcare costs. Non-compliant employees cost us 47% more in insurance claims. Maria stood up, her pregnant belly visible even from the back row. Maybe because you're denying us coverage for refusing to sync? You're not being denied. You're choosing non-participation. With a gun to our heads. Security moved toward her. She sat down. Edgar continued. By Friday, everyone will be compliant. No exceptions. Those who refuse will be terminated for performance issues. Ashley raised her hand. Is it legal to fire someone for not sharing health data? We're not firing anyone for health data. We're restructuring based on performance metrics. That happened to correlate with compliance. Correlation isn't causation. He smiled at his own words. But yes, high performers tend to be compliant. Low performers tend to resist. The rest of the presentation showed success stories. Employees who synced and got promoted. One woman claimed the app helped her get pregnant. A man said it cured his insomnia. All of them had the same dead look in their eyes. After the meeting, I sat at my desk entering more names. The screenshot software captured my screen. Click, another screenshot. Click, another. Patricia walked by. 3 days, Daisy. Sync or separation. I kept typing. Margaret Brown, satisfied customer. David Wilson, request refund. My computer dinged. New email. Subject, voluntary separation package. 2 weeks severance. But I'd have to sign an NDA. Never discuss the wellness program, never mention vital metrics, never sue. Penalty for breaking the NDA, $100,000. They wanted to buy my silence for 2 weeks' pay. I stared at the separation package for exactly 3 minutes before closing it without signing. That night, I sat at my kitchen table with a calculator and my bank statements. $6,000 for IVF upfront. Due next week. I had $4,000 in savings. My credit cards were maxed from the previous fertility tests. The loan application page stared back at me. 29% interest. Predatory. But what choice did I have? My abdomen cramped hard enough to make me gasp. The endometriosis was flaring worse than it had in years. Stress always triggered it. I reached for my heating pad, then remembered I'd left it at work. Too risky to retrieve it now with security watching everything. Jake found me curled on the bathroom floor at midnight. Jesus, Daisy, you need to go to the emergency room. I can't. If I miss work tomorrow, they'll mark it as a wellness non-compliant absence. Immediate termination. This is insane. Just sync the damn apps. Your health matters more than principles. I pulled myself up to sitting. You don't understand. If I give in now, they own my body forever. Every period, every pregnancy attempt, every miscarriage if it happens. But you need the IVF coverage. What coverage? They already took it away. Braun's plan covers nothing for fertility. He helped me back to bed. Then why are you still fighting? Because someone has to. Okay. Tuesday's sprint planning meeting was designed to humiliate me. Kyle had me present my data entry progress to the entire team. Daisy, tell us about your customer feedback insights. I stood at the front, everyone avoiding eye contact. I've entered 700 names. Any patterns you've noticed? People like the product or they don't. Someone snickered. Kyle smiled. Maybe senior roles were too stressful for you. This seems more your speed. I sat down and said nothing. At lunch, I ate a granola bar in my car. The cafeteria had 17 cameras. They'd know who I sat with, how long I talked, whether I looked resistant. My phone rang. Mom calling. Why haven't you started treatment? You're 29, honey. The clock is ticking. There are some insurance issues. What issues? You have that good tech job. And how could I explain that my employer was holding my ovaries hostage? That they wanted to track my cervical mucus consistency and sell it to insurance companies? It's complicated, Mom. Complicated? You've wanted children since you were 20. Don't let work interfere with your life. I have to go. Daisy, what's really going on? I hung up. Back at my desk, another email. 3 more employees had synced. Maria, Ashley, Chen Yi. Maria's message in our signal group was short. I couldn't risk the baby. I'm sorry. Ashley. Josh's surgery is next month. I had no choice. Chen Yi. They threatened to contest my unemployment if I was fired. My husband got laid off last week. That left 3 of us. Me, 2 junior developers named Sam and Alex. Patricia stopped by my desk at 4. 2 days left, Daisy. The offer stands. Sync and get your senior role back. Full salary restoration. IVF coverage on the platinum plan. All I have to do is let you sell my menstrual data. All you have to do is join the team. She left a vital metrics pamphlet on my desk. Happy women holding phones. Your health, your future, your choice. I threw it in the trash. That evening, I called the fertility clinic to postpone treatment. We can hold your spot for 3 months, the nurse said. After that, you'll need new baseline tests. 3 months? Will insurance be covering the procedure? No. The full cost is $18,000 per cycle. We require payment up front. I hung up and sat in my dark apartment. My ovaries ached. Either from the endometriosis or the fertility drugs I'd been taking to prepare. Didn't matter. Both hurt the same. Jake came home to find me researching bankruptcy laws. You're not seriously considering this, so if I take the predatory loan and IVF fails, I'll owe $30,000 at 29% interest. If you sync the apps, it's free. Nothing's free. They'll own my reproductive system forever. They already own it. Look at you. You're choosing poverty over privacy. I'm choosing dignity over surveillance. He sat beside me. What dignity? You're doing data entry, making less than a new grad, missing your IVF window. 2 more days. After Friday, it's over. Either I cave or I'm fired. Then cave. I can't. Then what's your plan? I looked at him. Tuesday's all hands. Edgar's presenting. The whole company will be watching. So maybe he'll say something incriminating. Maybe he'll slip up. That's your plan? Hope? It was all I had left. But then Wednesday brought an unexpected lifeline. I was eating a sad desk lunch when my phone buzzed. Olivia's burner number. Check your mailbox at home. I told Kyle I had a dental emergency and left. He didn't care. Data entry could wait. The envelope had no return address. Inside, printed emails Olivia couldn't risk sending digitally. The first one stopped my heart. Edgar to Janet Cho, board member. Health data subsidiary, could IPO separately. Valuation $200 million with current trajectory. They weren't just selling our data, they were building an entire company on our bodies. The next page showed the vital metrics contract. $5,000 kickback for every 100 employees synced. Edgar had personally received $20,000 so far, but the third document made me sit down on my front steps. An email thread titled Settlement Rachel Park. From last year. Rachel had miscarried at 14 weeks. Edgar mentioned it in her performance review, said her pregnancy complications made her unreliable for client-facing roles. She sued, they settled for $50,000, made her sign an NDA. The last email in the thread was from Patricia. Next time, we need better documentation to justify termination. Health data helps build patterns. They'd learned from their mistake. That's why they wanted our apps synced, to build patterns that justified discrimination. I drove to Starbucks and found Olivia's contact in the back corner, Sarah from Tech Workers United. You're Daisy, she said. Not a question. How did you... We've been tracking your company for months. You're not the only one fighting this. She pulled out a folder. 3 other Austin tech companies, all implementing vital metrics programs, all seeing resistance. 47 employees across 4 companies have filed complaints, but individual complaints get buried. So what do we do? Class action. But we need something public, something undeniable. She slid a business card across the table. Employment lawyer, pro bono, she's building the case. The lawyer's name was Carmen Rodriguez. I called her from my car. Daisy Chen? I've been expecting your call. You have? Sarah said you're the one with documents. Edgar's emails, the investor deck. I have everything. Good, but documents can be explained away, claimed as fake, taken out of context. She paused. We need something live, public, recorded. The all hands is Tuesday. Perfect. If Edgar says anything incriminating on camera with 300 witnesses, that's our smoking gun. What if he doesn't? Then we file anyway. But it's harder. I hung up and sat in my car. 3 more days until Friday's deadline. 6 days until Tuesday's all hands. That evening, I met Sarah again, this time with 5 other employees from different companies. All women. All being forced to sync fertility apps. They're tracking our pregnancies, said a woman from Dataflow. 2 women got laid off a week after their apps showed positive tests. Mine's worse, said another from Cloud9. They schedule important trips during your predicted ovulation days, making it harder to conceive. How is this legal? I asked. Texas, Sarah said. Weak labor laws. At-will employment. As long as they claim it's performance-based, not discrimination, they get away with it. But selling our health data without consent, buried in employment agreements, Clause 17, subsection 12, all data generated during employment becomes company property. That can't be enforceable. Won't know until we challenge it. Sarah looked around the table. Tuesday is our best shot. If Edgar slips up, admits to anything on camera, we have him. And if he doesn't, then Friday you're all getting fired. She met my eyes. Unless you sink. I thought about the $6,000 I needed next week, the $18,000 for IVF, the 3-month window before I'd need new tests. I'm not sinking, I said. The woman from Dataflow nodded. Me neither. One by one, they all agreed. No sinking, no surrender. Sarah smiled. Then we better hope Edgar can't keep his mouth shut Tuesday. And looking at his track record, his ego, his need to brag about data-driven decisions, I had hope. But hope doesn't pay for IVF. Hope wasn't going to pay for anything, but Thursday brought unexpected momentum. I was entering customer data when my personal phone buzzed, a LinkedIn notification. Emma Rodriguez from the Austin Chronicle had messaged me. I'm investigating surveillance capitalism in Austin Tech. Heard there's a story at your company. Can we talk? I messaged back from the bathroom. Can't talk at work. They monitor everything. Coffee? Tonight? We met at a coffee shop in South Austin. Emma was younger than I expected, maybe 26, recording device already on the table. Tell me about the wellness program. I told her everything. The mandatory syncing, the salary cuts, the fertility data being sold, Lucas getting fired for his diabetes. She stopped me. They're selling fertility data? $45 per profile. I have screenshots. Can you send them? After Tuesday? There's an all-hands meeting. Edgar might say something on camera. Edgar? VP of People Operations. He's running the whole thing. Emma typed notes rapidly. You're not the only one. I've talked to 12 employees across 4 companies. All the same story. Forced health app syncing, data being sold. Is anyone else going public? Too scared? NDAs, threats of lawsuits. She looked at me. But if Edgar says something incriminating Tuesday on camera with witnesses, then you have your story. Front page story. My phone rang. Sarah from the union. Check your email. Rachel Park is talking. Rachel Park. The woman who'd been paid $50,000 to stay quiet about her miscarriage being used against her. Her email was short. My NDA expires Monday. I'm ready to talk. EEOC complaint filed today. Emma's eyes widened when I showed her. This is huge. Then another text from Olivia. Emergency board meeting happening now. Janet Cho is pushing to cancel wellness program. Edgar fighting back. We sat in the coffee shop refreshing our emails. Then the news broke. The Texas Medical Association had released a statement. We condemn any employer practice of monetizing employee health data without explicit, non-coerced consent. The state senator's office followed. We're investigating reports of medical privacy violations in Austin tech sector. Emma's phone rang. Her editor. She stepped outside to take it. When she came back, she was smiling. He wants this story. Tuesday night after the all hands. Whatever happens, we run it Wednesday morning. Friday arrived like an execution date. Patricia sent the final email at 8 a.m. Last chance. Sync by 5 p.m. or accept separation. I didn't sync. Neither did Sam or Alex. At 4:55, I sat at my desk watching the clock. 5 minutes until unemployment. Then everything changed. Tuesday's all-hands meeting started like every other. 300 employees crammed into the main conference room, another 100 watching remotely. Edgar stood at the podium looking confident. Behind him, the Vital Metrics CEO joined by video. Today marks a turning point, Edgar began. By Friday, we'll have achieved 95% compliance with our wellness optimization program. Someone in the back shouted, because you fired everyone who didn't comply. Edgar's smile tightened. We separated from employees who weren't aligned with our culture. You mean women who wouldn't share their period data? We optimize based on comprehensive health metrics. Maria stood up, 8 months pregnant now. Is that why you're selling our fertility profiles? We don't sell individual data. We provide aggregated insights to partners. The Vital Metrics CEO unmuted himself. Actually, Edgar, we should clarify. Edgar frantically waved at someone to cut the video. Too late. We package individual profiles for insurance partners. It helps them assess risk. The room exploded, people shouting, phones coming out to record. Edgar tried to restore order. Everyone calm down. This is standard practice. Standard to sell our menstrual cycles? Ashley stood up. Is that why my insurance premiums doubled after I synced? Correlation isn't. Stop saying that. Chen Yi was crying. You sold my miscarriage data. You sold my trauma for $45. Edgar clicked to his PowerPoint to change the subject. But in his panic, he clicked the wrong button. His email appeared on the giant screen. Everyone saw it, the entire company, for 7 seconds before he could close it. From VitalMetrics CEO, Q2 data package ready, 287 female fertility profiles at $45 each. Wire confirmed. The room went silent, then someone screamed, "You're literally selling our uteruses." Edgar stammered. That's anonymized data for research. Research? Maria laughed bitterly. Research on how to fire pregnant women? He clicked frantically, trying to close the email. Instead, he opened another window, a folder labeled Employee Health Intelligence, $50 million revenue model. The subfolders were visible: pregnancy prediction algorithm, mental health risk scores, strategic termination list, high health cost employees. Lucas's name was on the termination list, so was mine. Maria. Every single non-compliant employee. Chaos erupted, half the room on their feet, people recording, someone was live streaming to Twitter. Patricia ran to the podium. Everyone remained calm. This is a misunderstanding, but Edgar had lost it completely. You want to know the truth? Fine. Data is the future. Your bodies are data. We're monetizing what you waste. Our periods are waste, someone shouted. Your resistance is waste. Smart companies optimize everything, including employees. Thursday morning came with an email that made everyone pay attention. A reporter from the Austin Chronicle messaged me on LinkedIn. I'm investigating surveillance capitalism in tech. Heard there's a story at your company. Can we talk? I screenshot the message and sent it to Sarah. She called immediately. Don't respond yet. If Edgar finds out you're talking to press, you're gone instantly. But Edgar had bigger problems. Olivia texted me that afternoon. Emergency board meeting happening right now. Janet Cho is pissed. Turns out 3 things were converging at once. A former employee named David Kim had filed an EECC complaint last quarter after being fired for refusing to sync his mental health apps. The Texas Medical Association released a statement condemning employer overreach into patient medical data, and a state senator's office called asking about constituent complaints. I could see Edgar through the glass conference room, pacing and gesturing wildly. Janet Cho sat stone-faced at the table. Later, Olivia gave me the summary. Edgar wanted to accelerate everything, full compliance or termination by end of the 3rd quarter. Janet thought the optics were getting problematic. We're too far in, Edgar had said. The data is worth more than the risk. That's when HR started drafting separation agreements. 2 weeks severance if you signed an NDA. Can never discuss the wellness program. $100,000 penalty for breaking it. They were trying to buy our silence before everything exploded. Friday came. Deadline day. Patricia sent a final reminder at 7 a.m. Sync by noon or accept separation package. No extensions. By Monday, they'd know who caved and who held out. Tuesday morning arrived with the tension of a held breath. The all-hands was scheduled for 10 a.m. I got there early and sat in the 3rd row, close enough to see everything, far enough back not to be obvious. Maria sat 2 rows behind me, hand on her 8-month belly. Ashley was across the aisle, Chen Yi near the door. The room filled quickly, 300 employees, plus another 100 remote workers streaming in. Edgar took the stage with his laptop and clicker. Behind him, the VitalMetrics CEO appeared on screen via video link. Good morning, everyone. Today we're announcing the final phase of our wellness optimization program. He clicked to the first slide. By Friday, all employees must sync or accept separation packages. Someone in the back shouted, "Is that legal?" Edgar's smile tightened. Everything we do is legal. Now, let me explain the separation terms. The slide showed 2 weeks severance, the NDA terms, the penalties. For those choosing separation, you have 72 hours to sign. After that, the offer expires and termination is for cause. No severance, no unemployment. Maria stood up, her voice carried across the room. This is medical discrimination. I'm pregnant. Congratulations. That's exactly why you should want wellness monitoring. The room went silent. We can prevent pregnancy complications with predictive modeling, Edgar continued. Know your risks before they happen. Chen Yi stood. You mean like predicting my miscarriages? Security guards moved toward the aisles. Edgar's face was getting red. These are voluntary programs designed to help you optimize. Optimize what? Ashley stood too. Our fertility for your profit. More employees were standing now. Not just the non-compliant ones. Even people who'd synced looked uncomfortable. Edgar was losing control. Everyone sit down or this meeting ends. Good, someone yelled. End it. The VitalMetrics CEO tried to help. Perhaps I can explain the benefits. You mean the $45 per menstrual cycle? I stood up. My voice was steady. Is that the going rate for our uteruses? Edgar clicked frantically at his laptop. That's not... You don't understand the full picture. Then show us, Maria said. Show us the full picture. The crowd was getting louder. People pulling out phones despite the no-device policy. Security didn't know who to approach first. Edgar's hand was shaking on the clicker. This meeting is about wellness optimization, not selling our fertility data to insurance companies, Chen Yi's voice cracked. Not using miscarriages to deny coverage. The VitalMetrics CEO disconnected from the call, left Edgar alone on stage. Sit down, Edgar said, but his voice had lost its authority. Sit down or you're all terminated. Nobody sat. Maria started walking toward the stage. I'm 8 months pregnant. You want to track my cervical mucus, my contractions, my breast milk production. Security, Edgar called. But security wasn't moving. They were watching like everyone else. You want to know when I ovulate? Ashley joined Maria walking forward. When I menstruate, when I'm most fertile. This is insubordination, Edgar stammered. This is illegal, I said, following them toward the stage. And we have proof. Edgar's face went white. Edgar clicked to share his screen. Let me show you our success metrics. The PowerPoint slide appeared. Employee wellness scores, productivity graphs, all the usual corporate bullshit. Then a notification popped up in the corner. From the Vital Metrics CEO. Everyone saw it. 300 people in the room, another 100 watching remotely. We all saw it for 7 seconds before Edgar noticed. Q2 data package ready, 287 female fertility profiles at $45 each. Wire confirmed. The room went dead silent. Edgar's hand froze on the clicker, his face drained of color. Then someone in the back said, "What the fuck?" That broke the dam. 287? $45? Female fertility profiles? Edgar clicked frantically to close the notification. That's anonymized data for research purposes. I stood up. My voice cut through the noise. You're selling our uteruses for $45 each? It's not selling. It's aggregate data sharing for wellness insights. Ashley stood next. My fertility profile is worth $45 to you? You don't understand the context. Edgar tried to close the notification but clicked the wrong spot. A folder opened instead. The projector displayed it on the massive screen behind him. Employee Health Intelligence, $50 million revenue model. 3 files were visible in the folder. Everyone could read them clearly. Pregnancy prediction algorithm. Mental health risk scores. Strategic termination list. High health cost employees. Maria gasped. Strategic termination? Edgar clicked again. Made it worse. An email thread opened. Subject, Q3 pregnancy predictions, action items. The preview text was visible to everyone. Identify employees likely to conceive within 6 months. Begin documentation for performance-based termination before conception occurs. You were planning to fire me before I got pregnant? Maria's voice cracked. Edgar kept clicking. Another window, a spreadsheet, employee names with colored highlighting, red for termination candidates, yellow for monitor closely, green for profitable employees. My name was red, so was Lucas's, Maria's. Every non-compliant employee marked for termination. But there were others too. Employees I didn't know were sick, cancer patients, people with depression, diabetics, all highlighted red. Jesus Christ, someone said. They're calling sick people. Edgar finally managed to close his laptop, but the damage was done. Everyone had seen it. Phones were out despite the no device rule. People recording, taking pictures. Olivia stood up in the 3rd row. She held up her company laptop. I got screenshots. Everything. Time-stamped. Patricia jumped up from the front row. This is a misunderstanding. Everyone needs to calm down. Which part's the misunderstanding? I asked. Selling our menstrual cycles? Or firing people for having cancer? Edgar grabbed the microphone. This meeting is over. Return to your desks immediately. Nobody moved. I said return to your desks. Still nobody moved. Maria started walking toward the stage. Slow, deliberate, 8 months pregnant. $45, she said. That's what my uterus is worth to you. Ashley followed her. My fertility, $45. Chen Yi joined them. My miscarriages, $45. More employees started walking forward. My wife's IVF cycles. My daughter just got her period. She's 13. My mom's going through menopause. Edgar backed away from the podium. Security! Get security in here. The security guards stood by the doors. They didn't move. They were watching like everyone else. It's on Twitter, someone shouted from the back. Reddit too. Someone posted it on LinkedIn. Edgar looked at Patricia. She looked back at him. They both knew it was over. The Vital Metrics CEO was still connected on video. We could see him on the side screen. He was on his phone, panicking. Then his feed cut off. Someone started laughing. Not happy laughing. The kind that comes out when everything is so fucked up you don't know what else to do. 287 women, Maria said. She was at the stage now, looking up at Edgar. $45 each. That's $12,915. She did the math out loud. Slow, clear. $12,915. That's what all of our bodies together are worth to you. Edgar opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. No words came out. Patricia tried. Everyone needs to return to work while we review this situation. Review what? Chen Yi asked. How you've been trafficking our ovaries. The room was chaos now. People on phones, calling spouses, calling lawyers, calling reporters. Someone yelled, Channel 5 wants a statement. Another voice. Austin Chronicle is asking for witnesses. Edgar grabbed his laptop and ran for the side door. Patricia tried to restore order, but her voice was drowned in the chaos. Everyone calm down, this is just a misunderstanding. Nobody was listening. Half the room was on phones. The other half was confronting Edgar. Then someone noticed. The remote feed is still live. Edgar's assistant had forgotten to cut the stream. 100 remote employees were still watching, recording everything. Turn it off, Edgar screamed at his assistant. But it was too late. Screenshots were already flooding social media. Within 20 minutes, hashtag selling our cycles was trending locally. Someone had posted the screenshot of the Vital Metrics notification. $45 per fertility profile. 287 women. Then Maria collapsed. She grabbed her stomach and dropped to her knees. Something's wrong. The baby. Ashley caught her before she hit the floor. Call 911. I was already dialing. We need an ambulance at 4500 Tech Boulevard. Pregnant woman in distress. Edgar appeared out of nowhere. Wait. Let's use the company nurse first. Get the fuck away from her. I pushed past him to get to Maria. She needs real medical help. The company nurse can assess. The company nurse reports to you, Chen Yi screamed. You're not touching her. The EMTs arrived in 6 minutes. They took Maria's vitals. Blood pressure dangerously high. Possible preeclampsia. We need to transport immediately, one EMT said. I'm coming with her, her husband said. He'd driven here after seeing the live stream. As they loaded Maria onto the stretcher, she grabbed my hand. Don't let them win. We won't. The ambulance pulled away just as the Channel 5 news van arrived, then Channel 7. Then the Austin Chronicle. A reporter approached employees streaming out of the building. Is it true the company is selling employee health data? They're selling our menstrual cycles, someone shouted. $45 per woman. They have a termination list for sick employees. Edgar ran to the main entrance and hit the emergency lockdown button. The doors sealed. Nobody leaves until you sign NDAs, he shouted. We were trapped. 300 employees locked inside. This is false imprisonment, Olivia said loud enough for everyone to hear. I'm calling 911. You're not calling anyone, Edgar said, but Olivia already had her phone out. 911? We're being held against our will at 4500 Tech Boulevard. The company locked us inside. Edgar tried to grab her phone. She stepped back. They're holding 300 employees hostage because we saw evidence of them selling our health data. Patricia ran over. We're not holding anyone hostage. This is a security protocol. Is security from what? I asked. The truth getting out? Through the glass doors, we could see news crews setting up, employees' family members arriving, police cars. Someone inside pulled the fire alarm. The piercing sound filled the building. Emergency protocols overrode the lockdown. Doors automatically unlocked. Everyone rushed outside at once. The reporters swarmed us immediately. What happened in there? Did they really sell your health data? Is it true about the pregnancy terminations? Edgar stood in the doorway screaming. Don't talk to them! You'll violate your employment agreements. Nobody listened. Everyone was talking, showing screenshots, sharing recordings. A police officer approached Edgar. Sir, we received a call about false imprisonment. There's no false imprisonment. I'm the VP here. Did you lock employees inside against their will? It was a security measure? After they witnessed something? Edgar's face went red. I'm not answering questions without my lawyer. The officer looked at the crowd, at the news cameras, at the employees still pouring out. Sir, I'm going to need you to come with us to answer some questions. I'm not going anywhere. That wasn't a request. Patricia tried to intervene. Officer, this is a misunderstanding. Ma'am, please step back. The news cameras caught everything. Edgar being escorted to the police car. Patricia standing helplessly, employees cheering. My phone buzzed. Sarah from Tech Workers United. Are you safe? We're out. Maria's at the hospital. The whole city is watching. This is it. This is the moment. I looked around at my coworkers, some crying, some raging, all free. For the first time in months, we were winning. The police car pulled away with Edgar in the backseat, and suddenly everyone was moving at once. Employees refused to go back inside. We all stayed in the parking lot, clustering in groups, comparing screenshots, showing recordings, planning what to do next. Someone pulled the fire alarm again, or maybe it never stopped. The sound kept blaring, forcing more people outside. Edgar's phone kept ringing on the ground where he'd dropped it, Janet Cho's name flashing on the screen. Nobody picked it up. A reporter shoved a microphone in my face. Did they really sell your menstrual data? $45 per woman, 287 of us. Can you prove it? I held up my phone, showed her Olivia's screenshot. The notification clear as day. More employees crowded around us. Everyone wanted to tell their story. They tracked my bathroom breaks. Denied my insulin pump accommodations. Put me on a termination list for having depression. Sarah from Tech Workers United pushed through the crowd. She had a bullhorn. This is illegal retaliation, her voice carried across the parking lot. Document everything. Take pictures. Save emails. Don't sign anything. Patricia appeared in the doorway. Everyone needs to return to work immediately or face termination. Fuck that, someone yelled. We're done. You can't fire all of us, Sarah continued on the bullhorn. You have rights. You cannot be fired for refusing to share medical data. That's discrimination. And more employees started walking toward their cars. Where are you going? Patricia screamed. This is job abandonment. This is self-respect, Ashley shot back. Then someone started to chant. Our bodies, our choice. Others joined. Our bodies, our choice. Patricia retreated inside, came back with printed papers. Anyone who leaves forfeits all vested stock options. That stopped some people. Stock options were worth real money. Edgar reappeared. The police had let him go with a warning. He grabbed Patricia's stack of papers. Listen carefully, he shouted over the chanting. Anyone who walks away loses everything. Stock options, references, severance, everything. You already took everything, I said loud enough for everyone to hear. Our dignity, our privacy, our health coverage. You took it voluntarily by refusing to comply. Comply with trafficking our bodies? A news camera swung toward us. The reporter held out her microphone. Edgar noticed the camera. His face changed. That fake corporate smile appeared. This is a misunderstanding. We value our employees' wellness. You value our uteruses at $45 each, Maria's husband interrupted. He'd just returned from the hospital. My wife is in labor because of your stress. That's not related. She's 2 weeks early. The doctor said stress-induced. More employees headed for their cars, first a trickle, then a stream. If you leave, you'll never work in Austin Tech again, Edgar screamed. I looked him straight in the eye. The camera was still rolling. You can't put a price on dignity, I said. Then I turned and walked to my car. Behind me, I heard footsteps. 1 set, then 5, then 20. I looked back. 24 employees were following, walking away from their jobs, their stock options, their careers at this company. Ashley caught up to me. What do we do now? We fight. EEOC complaints. Class action lawsuit. Whatever it takes. Can we win? We already did. Everyone knows what they did. My phone buzzed. A news alert. The video was already online. Tech company meltdown. Employees allege sale of fertility data. Below it, our screenshot. The $45 notification, already going viral. Edgar stood in the parking lot, still holding his stack of papers, Patricia beside him, watching their workforce disappear. 78 employees left that day, 22% of the company, all at once. The parking lot emptied, cars streaming out, Edgar and Patricia standing alone. The last thing I saw in my rearview mirror was Edgar on his phone, probably calling lawyers, or Janet Cho, or trying to do damage control. Too late. The world already knew what $45 meant to them. What our bodies were worth. What we were worth. Nothing would ever be the same. The next morning, my phone woke me at 6 a.m. with notifications I'd never seen before. 3 federal agencies had announced investigations overnight. The EEOC posted on their official site, investigating reports of pregnancy and disability discrimination at Austin Tech Company. The FTC was more direct, examining unauthorized commercialization of employee health data. But the Texas Attorney General's tweet made my hands shake. Criminal fraud investigation launched into deceptive practices. I checked the company's stock price, down 31% in pre-market trading. My phone rang. Sarah from Tech Workers United. Did you see the news? Which part? All of it. Edgar's been suspended. Patricia took personal leave. Janet Cho is leading an emergency board meeting right now. I pulled up my laptop. The company's internal Slack was chaos. Someone had leaked that Edgar was suspended but still getting paid. That detail made everyone furious. Then came the vital metrics statement. They'd posted it an hour ago. Due to miscommunication about data usage parameters, we're terminating our partnership effective immediately. And their CEO threw Edgar under the bus in the next paragraph. This appears to be individual misuse, not company policy. Vital Metrics has always prioritized user privacy. Bullshit, I said out loud. Jake looked over my shoulder. They're all running scared. By 8 a.m., 47 employees had filed formal EECC complaints. The number kept growing. Ashley texted our group that she'd just finished hers. Maria sent a thumbs up from her hospital bed with her newborn son. Carmen Rodriguez, the employment lawyer, called me at 9. I'm filing for an emergency injunction against data sharing. Need you in court at 2. Today? The judge wants to hear from employees directly. Bring your evidence. I spent the morning organizing everything. Screenshots, emails, the recording from Patricia's office. The investor deck Lucas had downloaded, 5 USB drives of evidence. The courthouse was packed. Reporters, employees, even some board members I recognized. Judge Martinez didn't waste time. I've reviewed the preliminary evidence. Ms. Chen, please explain what you witnessed. I told him everything. The $45 notification, the strategic termination list, the pregnancy prediction algorithm. My hand stayed steady even when Edgar's lawyer objected 3 times. Your Honor, Edgar's lawyer said. This data was anonymized. Anonymized data that included pregnancy predictions? Judge Martinez cut him off. With employee names attached? That was a draft document. I've seen enough. The judge turned to the court clerk. Temporary restraining order granted. All employee health data is frozen effective immediately. No access, no sharing, no downloads. Edgar's lawyer stood up. Your Honor, this will disrupt business operations. Then they shouldn't have commercialized employee medical data without consent. Outside the courthouse, reporters surrounded us. Carmen spoke for the group. This is just the beginning. We're pursuing full damages for every affected employee. Someone asked about criminal charges. Carmen smiled. That's up to the Attorney General. But selling employee health data under false pretenses? That's fraud. My phone buzzed. Olivia had texted a photo from inside the office. Security guards were at the IT department, supervised by federal agents. They were seizing servers. Another text from a coworker still inside. They're interviewing everyone. FBI agents are here. By 4 p.m., the story had gone national. CNN picked it up. Texas Tech Company accused of selling female employees' fertility data. The screenshot of the $45 notification was everywhere. Janet Cho released a statement on behalf of the board. We're cooperating fully with all investigations. The board was unaware of any unauthorized data commercialization. Liar, I said to my phone. You knew about the 50 million revenue stream. Jake pulled up Twitter. Number $45 women was trending. Women from other companies were sharing their own stories. This wasn't just us. This was everywhere. Carmen called again. EEOC fast-tracked the investigation. They're treating this as a pattern of discrimination. How fast? Weeks instead of months. The evidence is too clear. That evening, I sat with Jake and finally let myself breathe. 3 federal agencies, a restraining order, criminal investigation. You did it, Jake said. We did it. All 47 of us who complained. What happens now? Now we wait and document everything and make sure they pay. My phone lit up with another notification. The company had just announced they were bringing in an external CEO. Edgar's replacement started tomorrow. The revolution had begun. The new CEO lasted exactly 3 days before Olivia burned everything down. She sent the entire document cache to 3 news outlets Wednesday morning. Austin Chronicle, Wall Street Journal, TechCrunch, everything, every email, every spreadsheet, every recording. By noon, the headlines were everywhere. The $45 uterus, how Austin Tech Company monetized menstruation. The Austin Chronicle ran the investor deck as their main image. That graph showing correlation between menstrual cycles and code quality. Below it, the pregnancy prevention savings model. 23% cost reduction by firing women before they conceived. Reddit exploded when someone posted Edgar's email about Rachel Park, the woman who'd miscarried. $50,000 to stay quiet about using her pregnancy loss in her performance review. It hit the front page in 2 hours. Then TechCrunch published Edgar's personal emails, the ones showing his bonus structure. 95% employee sync compliance would net him $340,000. He'd already collected $200,000. But the worst was Patricia's meeting notes. Someone at WSJ highlighted one line and made it their pull quote. Target the pregnant ones. They're most vulnerable. My phone hadn't stopped ringing. Reporters, lawyers, other employees, everyone wanted to know if it was real. It's all real, I told CNN. Every document, every email, every dollar they made selling our bodies. The Austin Chronicle found more. 3 other tech companies were named in the vital metrics contracts. Dataflow, Cloud9, Tech Forward, all buying employee health data, all using the same predictive models. Those companies immediately released statements distancing themselves. We were unaware of vital metrics data sources. Our contract explicitly prohibited employee data. We're conducting internal investigations. Bullshit. They all knew. By Thursday, our company was hemorrhaging employees, not just leaving, refusing to work. Maria texted our group from the hospital. Security just called me, asked when I'm returning from maternity leave. I told them never. Ashley responded immediately. Same. They offered me a retention bonus, $20,000 to come back. I laughed and hung up. Chenyi. Patricia called me crying. Said it wasn't her fault, she was just following orders. The Monday after the documents dropped, 127 employees didn't show up. The office was a ghost town. Customer support phones rang unanswered. Code deployments failed. Client meetings got canceled. They hired emergency contractors at triple the normal rate. But the contractors quit after reading the news. Nobody wanted to be associated with the company that sold women's periods. Local news ran segments every night. They interviewed employees, showed the documents, explained the pregnancy prediction algorithm in terms everyone could understand. They knew when you'd get pregnant before you did, the anchor said. Then they'd find reasons to fire you first. A pregnant woman called into the show. I work at Dataflow. They put me on a performance plan 2 weeks after my pregnancy app showed a positive test. Now I know why. The Austin Chronicle kept digging. They found 7 more companies using vital metrics. 1,200 female employees across Austin having their fertility tracked and sold. One reporter created a calculator. What's your uterus worth? Input your age, cycle regularity, and pregnancy history. It would show your market value to data brokers. Mine was $63, higher than average because of my endometriosis. Chronic conditions were valuable. More data points. Jake watched me refresh the news obsessively. You need to stop. I can't. This is bigger than us. This is every woman in tech. Sarah from Tech Workers United called. We're organizing a march. Friday. Every affected company. Will you speak? Yes. Good. Because 2,000 people already RSVP'd. The company tried damage control. The new CEO sent an all-hands email. We're implementing the strongest employee privacy protections in the industry. All health data has been deleted. Edgar and Patricia no longer represent our values. Olivia forwarded it to me with one line. They haven't deleted anything. The servers are still running. She knew because she was still inside, still had access, still watching them scramble. Why haven't they fired you? I asked. They can't. I'm the only one who knows where all the bodies are buried. The moment they fire me, I release everything else. There's more? So much more. International contracts, government agencies buying data, insurance companies using our cycles to deny coverage. Release it. Tomorrow, after the march, maximum impact. The march changed everything, and 3 weeks later, the investigations delivered their verdicts. I was at home when the news broke. FTC first, $4.2 million fine for unauthorized health data commercialization. The biggest HIPAA-adjacent penalty in Texas history, then EECC. Their finding was worse for the company. Systematic discrimination against protected classes, including pregnant women and employees with disabilities. But the criminal charges made me put down my coffee. The Texas Attorney General's office filed charges against Edgar personally. Wire fraud for the $45 payments. Conspiracy to commit health information fraud. His mugshot was on every local news channel by noon. His assets were frozen immediately. $800,000 in his checking account, $2 million in stocks. His lawyer held a press conference claiming Edgar was a scapegoat, that he was following board directives. Nobody bought it. Patricia tried to save herself. She was terminated for cause that afternoon, lost her $200,000 severance package. Then she did something desperate. Called a press conference claiming she was a whistleblower. The reporters laughed. Actually laughed at her. You wrote target the pregnant ones, one reporter said. How are you a whistleblower? She started crying and left without answering. Janet Cho resigned from the board 2 days later. The investor revolt was swift and brutal. Stock price down 60%. 3 pension funds pulled out completely. She released a statement about pursuing other opportunities. Translation. She was forced out. The company was ordered to delete all health data. Not just deactivate, delete, with third-party verification from a court-appointed auditor. The auditor found something interesting. They'd never stopped collecting, even after the restraining order, even after the scandal. The background processes were still running, still harvesting, still packaging. That discovery triggered more charges. Contempt of court, violation of restraining order, another $3 million in fines. Our class action lawsuit was certified that Friday. Carmen Rodriguez called me with the news. $50 million. That's what we're seeking. How much per person? Depends on final numbers, but probably $70,000 to $100,000 per employee. That's life-changing money. That's the point. They changed your lives. Now you change theirs. Vital Metrics was under separate federal investigation. Turns out we weren't their only client. 17 companies across 6 states, all buying employee health data, all using pregnancy prediction algorithms. Their CEO fled to Dubai. No extradition treaty. Edgar's trial date was set for next spring. The prosecutor called me. We need you to testify. Absolutely. He's facing 15 years if convicted on all counts. Good. Patricia flipped completely. Agreed to testify against Edgar in exchange for immunity. Said he forced her to write those memos. That she was terrified of losing her job. Lucas texted our group. Did you see Patricia's interview? Ashley responded. The one where she claims she was victimized? Chenyi. I can't watch. Makes me too angry. Maria sent a photo from home, her baby sleeping peacefully. This little guy is worth more than $45. The company tried to rebuild. New CEO, new policies, new everything. But the damage was done. Clients fled, contracts canceled, revenue down 70% in one quarter. They had to sell the building, move to a smaller office in the suburbs, went from 350 employees to 90. The ones who stayed got desperate emails. Please come back, full salary restoration, platinum benefits, no health tracking whatsoever. I deleted them without reading. Sarah called from Tech Workers United. The other companies are settling. Dataflow just agreed to $10 million. Cloud9 is negotiating. They're scared. They should be. This is just the beginning. I thought about those 287 women whose fertility profiles were sold, each worth $45 to them. Together worth $12,915. But the lawsuits, the fines, the criminal charges, the destroyed reputations, that would cost them everything. We weren't $45 uteruses, we were human beings. And finally, the law agreed. 6 months later, the settlement check arrived in my mailbox like vindication made tangible. $127,000. After taxes, $91,000. Still more money than I'd ever seen at once. I was back at the company, same building, different world. They'd begged me to return as Director of Product Privacy, a role they created specifically for me. $120,000 salary plus oversight of all data practices. You sure about this? Jake had asked when I accepted. Someone has to make sure it never happens again. My first day back, Lucas was waiting at my new office. They'd rehired him as principal engineer with 6 months of back pay. $60,000 just to say sorry. Feels weird being back, he said. Feels like justice. Maria visited with her baby during lunch. 3 months old. Perfect. The company covered every medical expense from her emergency delivery. $28,000 they paid without question. He's beautiful, I said, holding him. Born 2 weeks early because of their stress, but he's strong, fighter like his mom. My phone buzzed, Dr. Chen calling about my IVF appointment. Second cycle worked, she said. Twins, both healthy. I sat down hard. After everything, after all the fighting, 2 babies growing inside me. You still there? Dr. Chen asked. Just processing. Twins. Your new insurance covers everything, platinum plan, no questions asked. The new CEO stopped by that afternoon, Rachel Williams, brought in specifically to rebuild. The board approved your privacy committee proposal, she said. Full veto power over any data collection. Any? Any, you report directly to me. Nobody else. I spent the afternoon reviewing the new policies. Strongest health privacy protection in tech. All wellness programs truly voluntary. No penalties, no tracking, no selling. Ashley texted our group. Did you see Edgar's trial date? March 15th. Chen Yi responded. I'm testifying. You? We all are. Maria. Good. Let him see our faces when they convict him. Patricia had already pled guilty to lesser charges. 2 years probation, 500 hours community service. She'd never work in HR again. Edgar faced 15 years. His lawyer kept trying to delay, claiming health issues, stress, depression. Ironic, Lucas said when we heard. Now he wants medical privacy. The other companies fell like dominoes. Dataflow settled for $12 million, Cloud9 for $8 million, Tech Forward shut down completely, Vital Metrics got the worst of it, federal racketeering charges, their CEO still hiding in Dubai, company assets frozen, hundreds of lawsuits. I stood in the conference room where it all started, where Edgar had shown that $45 notification. The room was different now, the wellness posters gone, replaced with employee-chosen art. One painting caught my eye, a woman standing in a storm, unbent. Sarah from Tech Workers United called. 2,000 companies have changed their health data policies because of you. Because of all of us. You started it, you said no. That night, Jake rubbed my growing belly, 4 months along, starting to show. Twins, he said. After everything. Worth the fight? Worth everything. My phone lit up with a CNN notification. Congress passes Employee Health Privacy Act. The anchors called it the $45 law. Making it federal crime to sell employee health data without explicit consent. 10-year minimum sentence. I thought about those 287 women, each worth $45 to Edgar. Some got pregnant, some miscarried, some struggled with endometriosis like me. All of us reduced to data points. But we fought back. We won. My new office had a window overlooking the parking lot, the same lot where Edgar was arrested, where we all walked out, where everything changed. A sticky note on my monitor caught my eye, from Olivia. Thank you for saying no first. I kept it there, a reminder. Sometimes the most radical act is refusing to comply. Sometimes revolution starts with one woman protecting her uterus from becoming corporate property. The twins kicked, first time. Tiny flutters. They'd never know a world where their bodies were worth $45. I'd made sure of that. 3 months after the twins were born, I flew to Washington to testify before Congress. The hearing room was packed, cameras everywhere. The committee chair introduced me as the woman who said no to $45. I leaned into the microphone. They wanted to own our bodies to optimize their profits. Senator Martinez asked the first question. Miss Chen, can you explain what happened when you refused to sync your health apps? I lost $29,000 in salary, my health insurance was downgraded, my IVF coverage eliminated, I was demoted and humiliated, all because I wouldn't let them track my menstrual cycle. And this was legal? In Texas, yes. That's why we need federal protection. I talked for an hour about the pregnancy prediction algorithm, the strategic termination list, the $45 price tag on our uteruses. 3 bills were introduced that week. The Employee Health Privacy Act, the Medical Data Protection Act, the Workplace Surveillance Reform Act. All 3 passed within 6 months. Edgar's sentencing happened the same week. He'd pled guilty to reduced charges. wire fraud, conspiracy, 18 months minimum security. I watched from the gallery as the judge spoke. Mr. Edgar, you violated the most fundamental trust between employer and employee. You turned their bodies into commodities. Edgar had to pay $1.8 million in restitution, lost all his stock options, worth nothing now anyway since the company stock crashed. His lawyer made one last plea. My client has suffered enough, his reputation is destroyed. The judge wasn't having it. He destroyed it himself when he sold women's fertility data for $45 each. 18 months. Not enough, but something. Vital metrics died quietly. No dramatic ending, just doors closing. Employees scattering. Their CEO still hiding in Dubai, fighting extradition on federal racketeering charges. Austin Tech Workers United exploded from 200 to 2,000 members. Sarah called me after their latest meeting. 5 more companies just canceled their wellness tracking programs. Because of the lawsuits? Because of you. You changed everything. Companies are terrified now. We met for coffee downtown, the same Starbucks where she'd first helped us organize. Good, I said. They should be scared. Our bodies aren't their data. Harvard Business School wanted to study our case, a professor called asking for interviews. We're using it to teach ethical leadership, she said. Teach them this. The moment a company thinks it owns employee bodies, it's already lost. 7 months pregnant with twins, I had my regular checkup with Dr. Chen. I handed her my insurance card, regular card, no apps, no tracking, no surveillance. How are you feeling? She asked. Free. The ultrasound showed 2 healthy girls dancing around each other in there. I thought about those 287 women, each worth $45 to Edgar. Some had reached out over the months, thanking me, sharing their stories. One woman wrote, I had a miscarriage 3 weeks after they sold my data. I always wondered if the stress caused it. Another, they knew I was trying to conceive before I did, started documenting performance issues that didn't exist. A third, my daughter just started her first tech job. Thanks to you, she'll never face this. The company now covered therapy for all affected employees. Full mental health support, no questions asked, no tracking. Jake held my hand during the ultrasound. You know what you did was incredible, right? I just refused to let them inside my body. You did more than that. You started a revolution. My phone buzzed. A message from a new employee. Someone hired after everything changed. Thank you for making this place safe. That's all it said. But it meant everything. I realized the fight was worth every painful moment, every dollar lost, every humiliation endured. Walking out of the doctor's office, I passed the hospital's main entrance. They had corporate wellness posters everywhere, but one caught my eye. A new one. Your health data is yours alone, protected by federal law. At the bottom, in small print, the Employee Health Privacy Act of 2024. Some people called it the $45 law. I rubbed my belly, 2 girls growing inside. They'd never know a world where their bodies could be bought for $45, where their periods could be packaged and sold, where pregnancy meant termination. Jake drove us back to the office. I had a privacy committee meeting at 2. The building looked the same from outside, but everything inside had changed. The Wellness is Wealth posters were gone, replaced by employee-chosen art. My favorite was right by the entrance, a woman standing strong, arms raised, below it the words employees voted for, privacy is power. My badge was platinum now, full benefits, full access, full respect. But more importantly, it was mine, my data was mine, my body was mine. Sometimes the most radical act is saying no. Sometimes revolution starts with protecting your uterus from becoming corporate property. The twins kicked. Hard. Future fighters maybe. They'd never have to be.